Texas boxing scene is here with Bring the Pain, Brandon DeSpain, out of Haltom City, Texas, Fort Worth. It's really good to have you on. You got a fight coming up October 22nd, another one in December. How's it going, champ, and
Yep.
how's camp going?
Camp's going very well. Hard camp this one. I've been pushing it a little more due to a couple decisions I've had. We've been pushing it, so we don't have to worry about going to decisions no more. I don't want to risk getting any more losses or draws on my record. So camp this has been way more intense than usual.
Now, are you going to be still at featherweight? Is 126 the weight, or are you moving up, down, or where are you at
I'm
with
gonna
weight?
stay at featherweight. Stay at featherweight. That's where I feel comfortable at. My body feels perfect at that weight. So right now I'm gonna stay there. Maybe in the future we might drop it down a weight class, but right now 126 is the preferred weight for me.
126 is a loaded division, obviously a really good division. You'll have lots of opportunities in big fights at 126, down the road. But focusing in on this fight. Now, this is in Michigan, and I didn't realize this, but Michigan is where you kind of grew up, right? That's where you kind of have your roots. So talk about that, and then talk about what it's like to go, because you fought all your fights so far in Texas. What's it like going back to where you grew up?
It's an amazing feeling. I got a lot of Michigan. This is their first pro fight, so I got a lot of people contacting me. Not even the promotion, asking me, "Are you on this card? Are you gonna be part of it? You gonna show out at least? You kind of started boxing, so it's a big thing for me to go back because a lot of those people in Michigan still stick with me in Texas. I got a lot of people that will travel to some of my fights, and that's 19 hours driving if they drive, and that's just one way. So it's amazing to be able to go back and be able to show where I came up, what I've came up into now. With the difference of Texas boxing with Michigan boxing. And see the difference I am as a man.
Um, Now you've had three fights. You've got a record that's a little bit deceiving. 1-1-1. And I want to talk to you about that, right? Because we talked about this off air. I mean, I don't see how you're not 3-0. I've scored basically every round you fought for you. I don't even maybe you've lost one round. Somehow you're 1-1-1. Is there a blessing in disguise in that, right? Because if you're 3-0, people would avoid you more. People just look at your record and they don't understand how skilled and how good you actually are because you have a couple blemishes on your record.
That's a big thing that's been happening now. A lot of people see my record 1-1-1, and right now, I got a lot of people from different states. Hey, you want to come be B side? I'll pay you this amount. You don't have a winning record. But to me, 1-1-1, it's not great. But to start, I can build from that. I'd rather take them now than later in my career. So like I said, a lot of people do take the downfall on it. He don't got the skill. He's 1-1-1. He got your losing record. But a lot of people see my fights. They look me up and then they're like, oh, he's something serious. He got some skills. He can move.
I wanted to talk to you about that. I wanted to describe your style a little bit in the ring because you got a lot of skills. A lot of times, you might not look like, a quintessential boxer mover, but you got a lot of speed. You got really good angles. Footwork is really good. How would you describe your style in the ring?
Um, that's a hard one, because some people describe me as a boxer, but I really don't describe my style because it's never the same. There's some fights where I can box and be really aggressive, and then there's some fights where I can box and counterpunch. It's never the same. So I really wouldn't consider me to have one style.
Styles.
I'm trying to mix it up to be able to have different styles. Different things that I can resort to if I need to in a fight. So but like I said, most people they're counted as boxing, because I'm slick. I got the head movement. I don't get hit too much. So a lot of people would say boxing. Me, like I said, no style. Just my own style, just the style of Brandon, pretty much. I go in there and do what I feel is gonna help me out in that point in time.
So I want to go back to the beginning and see what built up that style, right? You've had a pretty good amateur career. Obviously, you said you got started in Michigan. You didn't move to Texas till later. Talk about what got you into boxing and a little bit about your amateur career, how many fights you have, and your accomplishments in the amateurs.
Well, what got me into boxing, I came up right by Detroit, so there was a lot of drugs and violence, and I seen a lot of people going through things, and we grew up real poor, so we didn't have much, and my mom was working 16-hour days and taking care of 4 kids. So that pushed me, to really not just boxing. I did through school. I did every sport. I succeeded in every sport I did, but boxing just stuck to me because it's through my amateur career. I was succeeding more than most kids my age. There's a lot of big names out there right now that I've beaten the amateurs, and I don't nothing to them. They're better people now. They're bigger than me and everything, but a lot of people don't realize I've been in there with top names. I've beat Joey Spencer. I beat Keyshawn Davis at Silver Gloves Nationals. I've beat David Fecto and pro coming up in Florida. I've accomplished a lot. I've been through many nationals. Silver Gloves, whether it be Golden Gloves, Junior Olympics, and other tournaments. When I was younger, we had a fight. I don't know if it's still happening in Ohio, called Ohio State Fair. My first year being able to compete, I actually fought my own teammate for the championship and won my belt, and that's probably my biggest accomplishment. To beat someone that knows my style. Like I said, I beat the big names. I've done it. I've been to big shows. I came down here in Texas. A lot of people didn't expect me to fight the way I did down here. They were real shocked. A lot of people confused. So, like doing the amateurs down here was different because up north it's all boxing up there. Down here, I had to come down here and slug, which helped me out big time because now I can get it to where I can be able to hit hard and sit down and remember, back in my amateur days when I moved here, that was our big thing. We sat down in the gloves my first year down here. I want to say I went 3-0 for the regionals, and then regionals and that states I lost, which that was a hard thing for me to do because we wanted to come down here and take Texas by storm, and then we decided, amateur wasn't for me no more. We accomplished a lot, so we wanted to move on and do something with it. We seen that we had plenty of talent. Vince has put plenty of work into me compared to what I was. I came down here real tense because boxing up there, it's all hit and move, and down here you got to relax so you can stay in the pocket. So Vince has helped me accomplish a lot in the game, but it's compared to amateurs, boxing now, I have so much more love for it.
Stylistically, it is. People don't realize the big acclamation to fighting down here. On the Mexican gyms, a different style than up north. Up north, it's more of a speed game, right? You're more moving. Did that take time to acclimate, or I mean, you're a pretty good athlete. Did you pick it up pretty quickly and adjust pretty quickly?
Um, I I feel like I did, but it took me. I came down here October 2018, and I didn't fight till the gloves. So with the time of
Yeah.
preparation I had, I feel like I accommodated everything and got decent with everything. So I want to say I picked it up quick, but a lot of people pick it up quicker because it's something new to them. I had to get a whole new style. So
Now let's go back. Last year, September of 2021, you make your pro debut. Walk us through that fight, the controversy, and just kind of walk us through your pro debut and what you did well and what you could have fixed.
um, well, I went into that fight, and what really threw me off, I went in my first fight. I was expecting my opponent to be on weight. He came in just
He missed
about
weight.
2 pounds heavy, and and that kind of messed my mental up a little because I'm not used to the amateurs. You had to make weight no matter what. So that was something going through my mind, and then the first round we're sitting there, we're boxing, and I could tell I was getting on his nerves. He was getting real frustrated because he couldn't hit me, and then I want to say about 45 seconds to 30 seconds left in the first round, I got hit with a pretty hard low blow, and I think they might have. I think that's the one they called as a knockdown that first round,
Yeah.
and then I came out the second round doing the exact same thing, boxing, not getting hit, and then a minute 30 left in that round, I get low blowed again, and as being my debut, I didn't expect any of that. So I came out, you know, ready to bang and throw hard. So I didn't, after taking them two low blows, it took a lot of energy from me. But, I just relied on my boxing, and, I got a lot of people that ask me, what do you do when you get tired? Shit, I move my head, and you watch the fight, you seen that was my go-to. When I was getting tired, I'd move and hit, and that was all 4 rounds. Even, he might have been touching my arms and everything, and I think that's why I lost, because they thought he was throwing more, but he was just touching arms. So that's one thing, I've been working on a little more, countering a little more, throwing more with them, so we don't have that again.
So, I mean, after the fight, clearly to everyone there that was there that night in Austin, you looked like the classier fighter. You looked like clearly the more skilled fighter. There was a controversial low blow that was ruled a knockdown. Were you confident you won the fight, that you had 1, 2, 3, and 4 and did enough to win the fight? Or, what were your thoughts at, when the fourth round ended? Because it's only 4 rounds, right? I mean,
Oh,
if you
we were confident we won all 4 rounds. My coach, I don't ever hear him swear, and for him to react the way he did, something's up, because he thought I won all 4 rounds. We might give him 1 round, just so we don't sound biased, but we won, and that was going through our mind the whole time. And if you go on YouTube, you watch back the video, you hear me screaming at Hector, the promoter. I wanted a rematch, because that shouldn't have went down like that. I feel like they did me like that because it was his hometown.
You were fighting in his hometown, but it was the first round of that big belt WBC tournament. He missed weight, so you move on automatically. I know that's not how you want to move on. You want to beat him. You probably want to stop him, but he missed weight. And, the right thing happened. You clearly won that fight, and you got to move on despite, the judges ruling it a draw. Then you fight Abe Flores, a 4-1 fighter, a pretty good opponent, and you dominate him. You win every minute of the fight pretty much, and you go on to the finals. All looks really, really well at that point. So, going into the Sixto fight, you feel good? I mean, you feel confident?
I felt amazing. If going into that fight, I felt probably the greatest I felt. I was sparring 7, 8 rounds almost daily. I was getting my miles and doing everything. So I was ready. I was in shape and everything. And then just the decision just tore me apart.
You go into that fight again. I mean, I had 4-0. I talked to everyone who was there. They all had it 4-0. Maybe one person had it 3-1. You dominated him. You boxed circles around him. After the fourth round, you got to think you won the fight, right? Like, it's not even close in your head. I mean, I know in a 4-round fight, you really can't take the last round off because it's only 4 rounds. But I mean, did you even think the fight was close going to the scorecards?
Honestly, no, we didn't, because same thing as the first fight. He was hitting my arms, and every time he would hit my arms, they would ooh or ah, and I feel that's what got the judges to feel the opposite way we did. We felt like we were up 3-0 on him, and that's why we went in just boxing and stay moving.
But even at that, even the fourth round, which you did box and move a lot more, he didn't land anything. So I don't know how you could score that round for him. And it's always interesting when everyone watching the fight thinks you won the fight, like easily, like wide, but none of the judges do. It's always interesting. Like, how are they watching a different fight than everyone in the venue that night? I was really impressed. And you took it well. I mean, you won that fight. Everyone there knows you won that fight. You didn't piss and moan about it. You took it, and you accepted it. I know you disagree with it, but at that point, you've gotten 2 bogus decisions through 3 fights. Is there a part of you that says, I'm done with this boxing game? There's too much politics involved. There's too much incompetence. I'm out. Ever, like this boxing game's too corrupt. I'm out.
There was a chance where I was in that. Like I said, my coaches just kept me in. They kept calling me, checking on me, telling me you got talent. Don't let anything happen. It was close for me calling it right there. After 2 hard decisions that I really should have had unanimous, and it's something that a lot of people don't experience because if you lose, usually it's not like you beat the hell out of them and they gave it to them. So that was it was on my chest hard, and on my mind. But like I said, my coaches kept calling me daily, checking my health, seeing when I was coming back, making sure my mind was right, making sure anything I needed, they were there for me. So I did some thoughts, but like I said, my gym, my coaches, they made sure I stayed in.
Now, you're back October 22nd. It's going to be about 10 months out of the ring in between the fight in January and your next fight. How are you dealing with the layoff, and are you staying sharp? Were you in the gym most of that time, most of that layoff, or what did you do to stay sharp in that time away from the ring, time from fighting?
Well, I feel ready for it. 10 months is a long time off. I ended up during that time I went to the hospital. I had some stuff on me and figured out I had some, you know, striving in the sport. So I took about a month and a half off, and then I got right back in, and then I getting sick. I came down with the flu right before we figured out about this fight. So I was out for the first week of camp, but we came back, and like I told you earlier, been hitting it strong, doing what we need. So 10 months long, but I've been in the gym, running, working.
All right. I want to ask you about this. You got to fight October 22nd, and then you're back in December, just a couple, 6 weeks or so later, against Gary Hampton, an undefeated fighter out of Fort Worth as well. Um, you know, what's that like having 2 fights in a row? And is that what we can expect to see? You're going to stay busy, trying to fight every other month or so, or how many times do you want to be fighting, moving forward?
I would love to be able to fight every other month, but it just right now it comes with the promoters and what they're
Mm-hmm.
offering. It sounds cocky. I got a lot of people offering me 500-600, and my skill. I'm not gonna fight for that. My debut is more than that. So why would I cut it back? But yes, I would love, to be able to fight every other month, if not every 3 months. It'd be preferably the best choice. We're gonna try to get to that. We're working with a that's doing the December 10th card. He's trying to work a little contract out, a couple fights, and we'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we'll fight with him hopefully every other month.
All right, that sounds good. Now you look at your career. You won 1-1, but that doesn't tell the story. And like I said, you have a ton of amateur victories: Joey Spencer, Keyshawn Davis. So the skill is there. Do you look at those guys? Keyshawn Davis, Olympian, Joey Spencer, who PBC absolutely loves. You could, I'm just as good as those guys. I can get to that level. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. That's the mindset that I have. It's I don't ever knock nobody. I'm never saying nobody's as good as me. Nothing. Everybody has their time to shine, and it's they had their time before me. I was out the sport a few years in my teens due to a torn knee, and I came back, and now I'm getting to where I need to be on the same level. I just keep getting my name out there slowly, and we'll be on the same level as them. It ain't no rush, like I said. Everybody has their time. I'm in the game for I'm young. I'm in the game for a long time.
Brandon DeSpain, featherweight prospect. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege to get to watch your career. I've been live at all three of your fights. I'm not going to be able to make this one in Michigan, but best of luck. God bless, champ. And any shout outs you want to give, please give them now. I know you want to shout out your team and your coaches, and also tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
I just want to give Vincent, Paul Reyes, for my boy Christian at the gym. Chris Lloyd, he pushes me to straight day. And, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, Team DeSpain, Team DeSpain _1 on Instagram. Or you can just find me by my name, Brandon DeSpain. If I know you with, then I know you with. I accept anybody. I'm willing to talk to anybody about the sport.
Brandon DeSpain, really, really skilled featherweight. I'll be back in the ring October 22nd, and then again December in Irving, back here in Texas. God bless, champ, and thanks for your time.
Thank you, boss. I appreciate it.